Out of character. Yay! Reprieve!
Azak, you're not touching our starship. Harry and I already decided. Alright, I go and find Gerard.
Okay, along the way, you sense the Mandalorian coming up to you. She just calls out as soon as she sees you coming towards her. So have you found out who messed up my helmet?
Oh boy.
I stiffen a little bit and turn to her. I did. Did he not speak to you?
No. Who is he?
What are you gonna do if you find him?
I said I was gonna teach him a lesson.
Can I sense her motives there?
Sure. You
Define
roll
teaching a
use the
lesson.
Force.
I want to know her feelings.
Yeah, you sense that she's still upset, but she wasn't. She isn't nearly as upset as she was yesterday, or I guess technically this morning.
I scrutinize her for a little bit. I'm gonna say, alright, if you mean by teaching him a lesson, you are going to pull a prank, non-lethal and non-mission endangering prank on him back, I'll let you know who he is. But if I find out you've broken a leg or done something else that endangers him or the mission, I'll deal with you.
She just laughs at you and says, "It won't be that serious."
I'm not sure I like that emphasis.
I just grunt at her a little bit. What's her name again? I don't think I wrote it down. It's not in my notes.
Minta.
Minta, it better not be serious at all. Just enough to teach him not to mess with your helmet again, or any of your other things, for that matter.
Good luck with that.
Well, so who is it? We'll have to see how thick-headed this person is, how easily they can learn a lesson.
Tell you promise.
I already said, it's not going to be that serious.
I want a Mandalorian promise of honor.
I promise. She sticks out her hand.
Alright. To be honest, this person seems pretty thick-headed. Like, Durasteel. So you'll have to get clever. But, do you remember the shorter newcomer? With the green skin? The kill?
Ah, him. I should have known. She just immediately turns and starts walking away.
Minta, remember, he didn't mean to destroy your helmet. It just went wrong, okay? And nothing lethal.
Or maiming.
She just walks and sort of like waves her hand to you.
I whisper under my breath, Gerard's gonna kill me.
Well, I think someone might die, but I'm not sure it's going to be you or Duran.
Oh dear.
as soon as I find you're out meditating, I like knock on this door frame.
Come in.
It's just me.
I know.
So, I spoke to council. Obviously, they agreed with us that the governor shouldn't be assassinated. But they gave us a better reason than I could come up with. Apparently, they think there's some information to be gathered from him, so they'd like him back alive. We'll emphasize that point when we pitch it next, I think. However, bigger thing, learned some details about Dell and Akaz.
Go on.
Turns out Dell has a history of disregarding Jedi and their beliefs. He is part of something called the Watchman Circle, I believe. They're sort of a rogue Jedi group.
That could complicate things, that it could.
Well, slight clarification is that group is now disbanded.
Right.
But yeah, you guys would know that it used to be a troublesome group.
Apparently,
The group's name is actually the Covenant.
the Covenant. It was a watch of circle swords, though.
Well, there were watch circles. There were like individual watch circles inside the Covenant.
Yeah, I read the comic books. I'm good, I know.
Also, the picture of the kill for my thing is actually from that.
Yes, I knew that. Anyway, so yeah, Master Lamar doesn't trust Dell, and he says that we shouldn't either. Which, I mean, I get, but it also feels kind of anti-Jedi to just assume somebody is a way that they are. But I do understand why the Master is concerned.
If he shows,
Because, sorry.
I was going to say, if he shows concern, then we should take notes, but that doesn't mean we judge him based on it.
Well, you've always been better at that than me. But, we should definitely keep an eye on him.
Yes.
Now, as far as Bakaz, there's not as much information, but he has piqued the Jedi's interest. I told him about some of the unusual things we saw, and it seems to corroborate what they already knew about him. Apparently, when their last time they were on Dantooine, there was a great disturbance that was felt. It was during Kalani's knighting ceremony, actually. A disturbance in the Force, I believe Bakaz was the source of. In particular, that once they felt it, their ship also disappeared at around the same time. And I don't mean like was stolen from the docking bay, I mean like it went poof. So there's that.
He could be dangerous, but he also has heart. I notice he seems to have humor.
Yeah. He seems to also kind of be thick-headed, though. You know he's the one that destroyed the Minta's helmet.
That would make sense. Or that would clear things up. Okay.
I tried to explain to him why that wasn't an appropriate thing to do. I'm not sure if he understood, to be honest.
Well, that will be his burden to bear.
Yeah. So, just thought you should know those things.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ari.
thing, Jay. Also, I told Kalani I would take her back to the ship tomorrow so she could talk to Master Lamar. I get the feeling she's been trying to avoid him.
It is most curious that it is.
Yeah. Almost makes me wonder if hanging out with these people are rubbing some of their unorthodoxy on her.
It could, but keep an open mind here. It is still very possible that unorthodoxy is a benefit and could be leveraged as a weapon that it could.
Yeah. Whatever. I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go eat.
Alright.
You have fun with meditation.
Thank you.
And she just walks out. Goes to the mess hall.
Okay, John, so you get a call coming in over your comlink. And it's just a guy who's coming to pick you up asking exactly where you are.
Okay, I want to give him the nearby mouth of the alley on the adjacent street to have him stop there.
Okay. So you, like, look over there and you see just like an average, just like hover vehicle just pull up and stop there.
Okay, then I'm gonna get up and shamble over and open the back door and get in.
Okay. The guy who's driving, you can see is a human. He just looks back and eyes you to like see who you are, and then just turns around and starts driving. So fairly shortly, you arrive back at the resistance base. The guy just drops you off and then goes to park the hover vehicle somewhere.
For Edith.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, Del, were you talking with Edith? She's in her office with River. I mean Ingrid. River's just her last name.
I mean, you can have John come in pretty much like right when, because I was doing research on things. So if you want to have him come in when I'm like right after I get there, that's fine.
Okay. Yep. So John comes in. And Edith looks at you, John, and says, "Well, I'm glad you made it back here. Hopefully you weren't followed."
I need to speak with you privately.
Del nods and walks out.
Yeah, Edith nods to Ingrid when she looks at her, and she also walks out. Yes?
Of course I want to liberate my planet, but there's no point doing it if the people here aren't willing to fight for their own liberty. Otherwise, they'll just roll over to the next people that come along, the next bully that comes down the block to take them over.
I agree. It's ultimately our goal to recruit more people to our cause. But we need to start winning victories against the Sith in order for people to find out who we are and to rally to our cause. We've only actively started opposing the Sith since they began their more militaristic occupation of the planet, which was about 10 days ago.
I'm willing to help, but I am not willing to work with those Mandalorians, and that's non-negotiable. Either you show them the door, or I'm out of here. It's up to you. I don't care what you decide.
Well, to be honest, we're only working with them out of necessity, and now that they know that their relative is still alive, I'm not sure whether they'll want to stick around. But they're the people among us who have the most combat experience, and they're training our recruits, so we'll need to find someone to do that in their place if they leave. Would you be able to do that?
I can train recruits.
She smiles at you, just like a faint smile, but it's like the first time you've seen her smile. She says, "Well, that's good to hear." I'll have to speak to the Mandalorians after talking with Del.
I need to make this point clear because I don't think I have been, but it's not sufficient for you to just let the Mandalorians leave on their own. You need to expel them, and you need to do it now.
Okay, roll persuade.
I've rolled enough things today. I'm done rolling things. I don't want to do it anymore.
She just like stares at you and says, "Well, I need to know that you're committed to this, because if we kick the Mandalorians out and then you abandon us, then we're left with nothing."
What can I do to convince you?
Just promise me that you're committed to this and that you wish to see Ventuine free of the Sith.
I give you my word on my honor.
Very well. I'll be back. You can wait here, if you wish. And she walks out of the office.
Oh, John, what have you done?
Del standing like pretty much right outside the door.
Okay. Do you say
I'm
anything
playing
to
my
her when she
character.
comes out?
So, what do you want? Is he coming back?
Yes, but he insists that we get rid of the Mandalorians.
Honestly, I kind of agree with him on that point. If we're going to be gathering people to the cause, it's not going to do any good to have potential problems for us. The Sith might use them as a PR against us.
Yes, that was in the back of my mind, but we didn't have anyone else with enough military training to actually help us pull this off. But if John can do it, then things might work out.
Sure, the Jedi can help a little bit too. Including myself. Well, former Jedi anyway.
She, like, cocks her head. She says, "Is it really part of the Jedi Code to train others to fight?"
Well, I don't exactly follow the Jedi Code perfectly anymore, but you'll have to ask them. Fighting for liberation could be seen as training for self-defense, so they might agree to it.
It would be also a lot easier if you could convince them to agree to assassination.
I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to convince them of that. So what are you gonna do with the Mandalorians then?
I will thank them for the help they've given us and then ask them to leave. Perhaps they'll want to go search for their relative.
Well, I'll need to talk to them then.
Fine. Come with me then. Okay, so she walks over to the not the corridors though, I don't know what word I was looking for. The room where they're staying.
Quarters?
Yes, quarters. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so she swings open the door and you see both Kira and Minta in there, and then you also notice that Dirk is in there talking with them. And all three of them turn to look at Edith. And Edith just sort of like stands at the door and just says, "Thank you for all the help that you've given us. Unfortunately, it's not really our place to accept help from Mandalorians. And I would think it would be best if you parted ways with our resistance. Now that you know that Ajak is alive, perhaps you can go search for him. But I think it would be best if we parted ways now." And the younger Mandalorian, Minta, says, or she starts saying like, "But," and then the other one says, "That is fine. We will leave this place if that is what you wish." And Dirk says, "But wait, I thought you guys were supposed to be protecting me." And they just look at him.
Look, Dirk, it's a PR problem. We're trying to recruit people as resistance. The Mandalorians invaded the planet before the Sith. You should know that. That the Sith might exploit that to drive people away from us. And that's not something we need.
And then Dirk says, "Well, how about I just go with you two then? I know a lot about computers. It seems like that's something you're familiar with too."
But aren't you still looking at data, or have you finished decoding that?
Please hold. I need to look up someone's name. Oh, wait, JK. Wait, Kyler just left. Okay. Well, I guess the conversation between 4 GM characters and 1 PC character will just continue on in silence then.
I'll do Dill.
Will
I'm
it
here to
just
help.
be lie?
Or am I? I am. Or am I? I am. Or am I?
That's great. That's great. You should be his impressionist.
And I take off my face. I'm actually a human.
Then you take it off again. No, I'm a kill.
Then I take off my human mask. Nope, I'm a cow. Then I take off my cow mask.
No, no. You
I'm
don't
a
say
mom.
nope, I'm a cow. You just move.
Twist, he's actually a starship.
Yeah, it takes off another
A
mask.
really
and there's
tiny
just a
Star
Star
Ship.
Destroyer right there.
Double Twist, he's actually the other android in the group.
Triple twist. Turns out he's because.
That would be interesting.
And not
Yes,
as
yes, it
ridiculous. And not as ridiculous as it sounded.
Here's a stack of Ewoks sitting on each other's shoulders.
That makes sense. That I buy.
Yeah.
See, the reason he's wearing that face mask is to hide all his whelpy. So you can't tell that he's actually Picard. He just dyed his skin orange.
I just imagine him taking off a mask and being Ewoks, and then all of them just running away like cockroaches scattering.
We've been found out.
No.
Ito na to! Rai!
Jump, jump!
At that point, you all have my permission to just shoot him because Ewoks are annoying.
Sorry about that.
We weren't talking about anything.
I'm back.
Yes, we
We
certainly were
found
going
out
to
Dell's
shoot you.
secret identity while you were gone.
We weren't talking about anything.
What's my secret identity?
Ewoks.
How am I an Ewok? I'm confused.
No, you're,
You're
a
not an
stack of
Ewok.
Ewoks.
You're a stack, yeah, it's like 3 of them.
You're also a starship and a cow. And
I like-
And Picard's.
I'm all wow. I'm great then. I can defeat the entirety. I can defeat a legion of the Empire's best men, and I can teleport stuff, and I can fly. So I don't see a
Yeah, so
downside to
basically
any of
you're a
this.
stack of Ewoks wearing a starship costume, that's wearing a Picard's costume, that's wearing a cow costume, that's wearing a human costume, that's wearing a Dell costume.
That's a lot of stuff to fit inside a Dell costume.
Yeah, but it's Ewoks. They know how to do that.
No,
They also know how to be the legion of the Empire's best men.
I think it's more that it's Dell, the master of twists.
This dude's like, I'm
That was a
actually.
lying liar who lies.
Okay, anyway, so back to the matter at hand.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Minta says, well, we've mostly decoded it. I'm sure that the Resistance computer expert who was working on it before we joined, Talanis, can work with the rest.
Well, that's good.
They go to like pack up a couple belongings.
You're not
It's
planning
like
on
a
looking for
bag.
Ajax, are
Slings
you?
it over. They both like pause and look over at you. Well, we had considered it.
Look, he's trying to operate under stealth right now. If more people will just bring more attention to him.
Fine, have it your way, Dell, but just tell him to contact us as soon as he can, after your silly stealth covert co-op mission is done.
I will.
So they sling their bags over their shoulders, and then Minta says to Dirk, "So, are you coming?" And Dirk says, "Great, let's get out of here. I'm sure it'll be much safer with you guys."
Bye-bye, computer assistance hacker.
Wait, hold on a second. Wait.
GM's trying to take away our NPCs. Quick, stop.
No, he's trying to take away someone who has the shadow on him.
What?
Dirk, you can't leave.
Why not?
Don't you remember we still have the shadow to deal with.
Or how do we even know that that's really attached to me? I feel like it's a very powerful force thing. Bad things seem to happen whenever you guys are around.
It's attached to everyone that was there, Dirk,
Well, how do we know?
because we felt it attached to everyone.
Well, I guess if I stick with you, I'll meet up with Ajax eventually, and then he can protect me instead.
It's not like the Rapid Rancors can find you inside this base.
I wouldn't put it past them. You remember the fact that they are, like, in control of half the government. Or at least they were before the Sith.
Yeah, but since they're working with the Sith, I feel like if they knew our location, we would know about it by now.
Fine.
Dell turns to the Mandalorians. I'll make sure Ajax contacts you.
Thank you, says Kira. And as they walk out, Minta turns and looks at Dirk and just says, "Remember what we told you?" Then they walk out. You guys roll. Well, you guys slash just Dell, because Dell's the only PC there. Dell, roll perception.
I see how it is. Edith doesn't get to be perceptive. Oh,
Yeah, okay.
I
Carry
never roll
on.
well on perception, like ever. So it turns to Edith. Are you gonna make sure they leave? I mean, I'm pretty sure they will, but you never know.
She just sighs. Who knew that opposing the Sith could be like so much like running a daycare?
Dell laughs. You have no idea.
And that's when it pans over to Mikaz with Living in the Sunlight playing in the background.
Okay, so Edith goes back to her office. So Edith and Ingrid walk back into her office. John, were you just waiting there the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so she just walks in and says, "I've expelled the Mandalorians. We no longer need their kind helping us out in this fight. We can do it ourselves."
Fine. Now the next thing we need to do is reach out and try to find some of the veterans of the old wars and see if they're willing to fight. As well as some new raw recruits. We need bodies, lots of them.
Yeah, she looks at you and says, "Well, yes, that is a pressing concern, but we have slightly more pressing matters. Eli Rawama, also known as Darth Ulagos, is going to be vulnerable in 2 days, and we need to assassinate him in order to send a clear signal. That'll also provide the citizens of the planet with clear proof that we're actually capable of accomplishing things to oppose the Sith. And because some of your friends don't think assassinating him is okay, they've insisted that we kidnap him. In order to do that, we're going to need more supplies. So first we have to plan a raid on a Sith supply depot in order to get the supplies to make the assassination attempt. And once that's done, then the timeline will be a little bit more free for us to start doing more recruiting."
Are you ready for this? What are your assets?
Well, currently our assets are the how many people are in your party? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's one person in my party.
Yeah, so far our assets are the 5 of you, the 2 Liaxalim Jedi, the droids that Prakaz has, along with Ingrid and Liam, along with 25 other recruits we have.
Let me explain something to you very clearly. I don't know those 2 Jedi of yours, but the rest of them, don't expect them to follow orders. Expect them to do just whatever the heck they want to do.
She nods at you. Well, we'll just have to try to work around that as best we can, because the group of you are our most competent allies in this fight.
Which is why I think we need to get more, and that needs to be a priority.
Well, another one of the targets we've considered in the back of our minds is raiding one of the Sith concentration camps, which does have a number of previous members of the Ventuine forces, as well as some other people who were put there for opposing the Sith. If we could raid one of those bases, we could probably get a bunch of new recruits. I also believe that your parents are being held in such a facility.
How many?
We'd have to look more into our records, but these concentration camps are scattered throughout the continent. If we raided one, we could probably free upwards of 100 people, though it's certain that not all of them will be willing to fight with us, or able.
So the plan is to go to the concentration camp, liberate it, and then do what with all the people that we get out of there? How are we going to move them? Where are we going to move them to? Are we going to be able to feed them, clothe them, equip them?
Like I said, that's why our current mission is to raid the supply depot, not to raid the concentration camp. We need more medical supplies, food, ammunition, weapons, mechanical equipment, vehicles. We have several other safe house bases such as this one. We could easily house more people.
Okay, that's what I've been trying to find out. What exactly are the extent of your assets? So you've got other locations besides this one?
Yes. We have 5 other bases. That's where most of our other 25 people are spread out between those 5 bases. Which is why this one looks pretty empty. We have just a handful of transportation besides personal airspeeders, including the large freighter that you guys used to raid the Rapid Rancor base.
What's the passenger capacity of that machine?
Well, if we filled it with people, it could probably fit about 50 or so. But we need it for carrying the supplies out of the supply depot if we're going to raid it.
Then we need to improve our transportation capacity.
Do you have any suggestions?
Yeah, steel trucks and ships.
From whom?
The first place I'd think of to look at would be an impound lot.
That would belong to a citizen, the citizenry of Ventuine. We can't just steal from our own people. The only people we can steal from are the Sith.
Impound lots are full of vehicles that were either parked illegally or weren't paid for, or were stolen from somebody else.
And they're under the custody of Ventuine which I suppose one could argue is now the custody of the Sith. But I'd have to think more on that.
Tell me about your plans for this raid on a supply depot.
Well, we hadn't been considering attempting this raid. Liam's been planning it. I'm not sure how much progress he's made. But we haven't been considering it, at least definitely not within the next 2 days, other than the fact that your friends insist that we must try to capture Darth Ulagos rather than assassinate him, which could be done from a much safer distance with much fewer supplies and men.
So who's running this part of the movement? You or them?
Oh boy.
Well, as you already said, they won't take orders, so we can't just order them to assassinate the guy. And I would have asked the Mandalorians to assassinate him, but since we don't have them, do you think you can snipe Darth Ulagos by yourself with no backup?
No, probably not.
Well then perhaps you should talk with your friends and get them to see reason.
No, I'm not going to waste my time.
Ouch.
What? Why are we gonna bother capturing him?
The only reason we're going to capture him is because we need to rely on the strength of your allies and the Jedi siblings. I almost said twins. The Jedi siblings. And they insist that assassination is not part of the Jedi way.
They're manipulating you. They don't have any skin in this fight. This isn't their home.
Well, unfortunately, if they're the ones we have to rely on for assistance because we're not strong enough ourselves, that gives them the power to dictate such things.
Well, I guess for now we'll play their little game. For as long as it suits us.
Well, I'm still holding out hope that we can convince them, or that we can find some other plan that won't involve them.
We need to prioritize recruiting people that don't have split loyalties.
Well, unfortunately, all the intel that this organization used to gather up until this point was just on the members of government who either were or were not being bribed or manipulated by the rabid Rancors. But if you have potential contacts who used to work with you in the army, we could potentially start there.
There may be one or two avenues that I could approach, but it's been so long. I don't know if there'd be anything there. There might just be a dry well.
Yes, and as you've already said, we only will be able to recruit people if the people of Ventuine want to fight and believe that they can fight and win. Right now, the Sith have a very strong hand over the people, so I think we may need to win some first victories in order to give people hope and believe that this is actually possible, and only then will we be able to recruit people successfully.
That's fine, but be careful of people who are only willing to fight after they think it's possible to win.
She looks at you and like nods like grimly.
As for me, give me a group of men who's willing to fight, knowing they can't win.
And she looks at you and she gives you another like faint smile and says, "Well, it seems like I may have misjudged you from our earlier conversations. I hope we can find such people. But even if we can't, even if I was the only one who was opposing the Sith, I would still do it. At least I would die trying."
There's one more thing.
What?
Shortly before I called you, I was in contact with a man who claims to be with the Republic Special Forces. Now, I think he's left the planet by now, but he seemed like a pretty capable fighter, and I believe him. The reason he's here is to offer support to insurgent groups on Sith-controlled worlds where the Republic can't project overt military power to weaken the Sith from inside the Fifth Column, as it were.
Interesting. Although I hate to get my hopes up or put too much trust in the Republic, because it doesn't really seem like they've done so much thus far. Although from what I've heard, the war out there is pretty brutal. Did he say whether they'd be able to give us any direct aid? Or perhaps if they could smuggle some equipment to us?
He didn't mention anything like that, but he gave me a comm frequency. Maybe we could call him and find out. His name is Jack Norvis. Do you recognize the name?
She shakes her head. No, I've never heard of it. Well, do you have his comm information?
Yeah.
Could you give it to me?
I think I'll hold on to it for right now. Maybe later.
Okay, she frowns. Very well.
Like I said, I'm not convinced he's legit. I don't know.
Well, I guess we can hope. But it's good to be cautious. Besides, I'm uncertain whether the Republic will be able to lend us any real aid here.
Do you have any S2, any intelligence staff?
Well, most of our personnel that we recruited were meant to oppose the Rabid Rancors covertly, so most of our organization is focused on intel gathering and working behind the scenes rather than actually fighting. That's why we had the Mandalorians training with them. But we should have you doing that instead.
You might put this Jack Norvis guy on their ledger for them to check on.
Yes, I'll do that.
So in the meantime, what are your orders?
Well, I'd still like to believe it's possible to convince the rest of your friends to accept fighting for our cause and doing whatever means necessary. And I think you have a better chance of convincing them than I do. So you should go talk to them. Otherwise, I'll call for a change of staffing to bring some of the other recruits who are scheduled to work with the Mandalorians next, and you can begin running through some combat training with them.
I squint and grimace and pinch the bridge of my nose and I say, I'll try.
Okay, so Gerard, you have your health back now.
Okay.
Yay
And
for health.
because you finished fixing Bob. And then at the tail end of fixing Bob, little Bob. Wait, do you speak binary? Because?
He does. if I remember correctly.
Oh, he said
He's
BRB.
got-
Well,
yeah, he said
that's-
he speaks. He said he speaks binary before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna tell him what the droid said if he's not here,
Yeah,
so
but
it's irrelevant.
just so you know, you can tell him. You can just tell him if Droid said something,
Okay.
so you don't have to ask him later.
So what's saying what?
Oh, so I was saying you finished fixing Bob, and when you were done, little Bob conveyed to you that it needed assistance fully recharging and fixing its shield generator.
I will do so.
It also suggests that perhaps it could recharge its shields faster by eating some nice cat steak.
I tell Bob to be on the lookout for small cats quietly behind the back of the.
Okay, I immediately regret my decision. No, don't do it.
Just until we get him a little bit less messed up in there. As I whisper to Bob.
Affirmative.
And you want me to roll mechanics or?
Yeah. Yep, so you notice that like his shield generator is like sort of short-circuiting from when his shield got overloaded and also then from him trying to recharge it in the middle of combat.
And failing hard.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So you recharge and his shield goes back up to full strength. And you also notice that, like, when his shield is fully charged, he stops talking about eating cats. What, GM shenanigans? No, he stopped doing that.
He didn't say anything about eating them.
I was gonna make it so that every time he doesn't have his shield generator at full strength, then suddenly he wants to hunt cats. That's his defect now. But when his shield is fully charged, he's fine. But as soon as he loses some shield energy, he thinks he needs to attack cats in order to get it back. Okay, so what is everybody doing?
I foresee lightsabers in that droid's future.
I'm eating in the mess hall.
Okay.
After meditating, Gerard will end up in the mess hall.
A quick note: thanks to the Mandalorians being expelled, there is no return prank.
That's what you
Kaz
think.
wins in the end. What?
That's what you think. You don't know. She could have done it before they left.
Indeed, it is possible. Thankfully, I
Well,
carry
since Dell
pretty much
has
all my
bad
stuff with me.
perception, now he doesn't. We'll never know.
That's
Mitchell
what
was
I
gonna
thought
say.
that was.
Yeah. What he said to Dirk.
And what she said to Kira.
Oh. Well. Oh well.
Well, thankfully, all my stuff and my droids were with me. I guess Mikaz would go looking for the intel. That's the only thing he cares about that there is to do right now. The intel that is the reason for the prank in the first place.
Okay, so do you want to go talk to Edith in her office?
Yep.
Okay. What exactly do you want to ask her for, like a copy of it, or?
I mean, that'd be fine. But I think he goes in, you know, after greetings and stuff. He brings up that he would like to look at the intel. And I think that we gathered the night before.
Well, we gathered quite a lot of it. The whole server mainframe of the Rabid Rancor base. Are you referring to the information which might help us assassinate Darth Ulagos, or the info about the supply depots, or just everything in general?
Everything in general. You never know what you might find. Kaz knows exactly what he thinks he might find. Or hopes he might find.
Okay, roll persuasion to see how persuasive you are at asking for it.
I don't have persuasion. Can I just roll charisma?
Well, everyone has persuasion. You just don't have... If you're not trained in it, you can still roll it.
This isn't Stars Without Numbers.
Well, everyone can roll that and that too, you just have a -1. Apparently Little Bob is trying to persuade her.
Oops.
Are you a cat? I will eat you. Give me the intel.
I will roll that. Well, I rolled it from my character.
Yeah,
so
it's
should be right.
fine. It just has the incorrect character descriptor.
Yeah.
Okay, she says, well, I guess without the Mandalorians looking at it, we could use an extra pair of eyes. So she motions for you to plug your datapad into her computer to download it. Just let me know if you find anything of use.
Will do. Yeah, so Pikaz just plugs it in and downloads everything.
Okay. Okay, what is Kalani doing? What is Kalani doing?
I don't know. Getting bored, apparently. People are off doing things and know what's going on.
Well, you could hang out with the Liax Williams in the mess hall.
I guess. Yeah. Is that where they are? I don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems like a place she might have been hanging out anyway.
Although by now, chances are Ariel is like done with her plate or almost done, and Gerard is probably just started.
Okay, Dell also makes his way to the mess hall.
Oh dear.
Because where do you go to look at the data?
He's gone. He's AFK.
Oh. Okay, never mind. And then John, what do you want to do?
I put on my salesman hat, I guess.
Okay, guess we're having an impromptu team gathering in the mess hall.
Oh boy.
Where's that spooky music that I had for Stars Without Number? We need to put that on.
No, we need to play like Tequila or something. You know, like for like the moment when like the crazy bar fight breaks out, but it's supposed to be slightly comedic.
So yeah, I'm cleaning up my dish, and then I start noticing that everyone's like coming in, and so I kind of go back to my seat, grabbing a glass of water, and I just sip that as everyone gathers.
Well then, have a seat. Why don't you pull up a tray if you need.
Okay, where does Picaz go to take a look at that intel?
Probably wherever we were told we could sleep.
Yeah, in the quarters. Also, everyone else is meeting, apparently, in the mess hall, but they didn't say it over comms.
Where's Dirk?
He's chilling.
Yeah.
Picaz has to get comfortable with a ventilation system before he can hang out in there. You know that, Barry.
Yes, and all it takes for Paquez to get comfortable with ventilation system is 5 minutes.
Besides, it's only on ships and large vehicles. There's a nice hum.
Okay, so everyone's sitting around the table at the mess hall, not saying anything.
Who all's here?
Well, I just figured. Yeah, I just
three
figured.
It's the three
Everybody-
Jedis and Dell and Dirk.
Dirk's not there.
Oh, Dirk's not here. Okay. So he's chilling somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
He's sad because the Mandalorians left.
And he wasn't allowed to go with them.
And Picaz is not here.
Nope.
Okay, so I look at the four of them and I say, "What do y'all got against killing Sith?"
Nothing, actually. That's actually why I came in here. To talk to these
Alright.
three.
What about the rest of you?
Ah, boy.
Killing ends up having an effect on not just the person who's killed, of course, but also on the person who does the killing. It has a tendency of throwing them off balance just a bit more.
Jay, they're not going to understand that.
Yeah, I have no idea what it's like to kill another person.
But it matters how and why.
He's a commanding and very important figure in the Sith who, last time I checked, We're pretty much bent on galactic domination and destruction of your order. I don't understand how you can't argue that assassination is a good strategic decision that can also be construed as self-defense. If that is the lens that you have to look at it through, I don't understand how you can't see it that way.
Look,
How
the
are
Jedi.
we any better if we use their methods?
None of this philosophy doesn't matter. They're not Jedi. They're not going to understand. Look, our order would like this man to be captured because they believe that they can gather more information from him. He knows a lot more about Revan and his tactics. We might use that information to win this war.
We're not equipped to hold him prisoner. We
No.
have-
But Jedi.
Here's a thought, and I know this is a long odds on this one, but say he doesn't want to be captured. What do we do then?
We obviously make him.
That's what taking him under arrest would be for.
He's going to be under heavy guard. It's not like... That's why the assassination was chosen as the method. Far distance, you can't stop a blaster bolt from that far away if they're not seeing it coming. The point here is trying to capture him in the middle of a street while he's trying to approach the Capitol building under heavy guard. With the numbers we have, is going to be basically impossible. Unless you have some strategy that you haven't revealed to Edith.
Yeah, let's hear your plan. How's that going to go down?
I'll get him. I don't.
Well, we're set, Del. She'll get him. What are we waiting for?
Yeah, we could just have the Jedi. We could send the Jedi in to try and capture him, and while they
I'll tell you
fail,
what,
you can shoot
Why
him
don't
from
you
a
three
distance.
go capture him for us and bring him on back? We'll wait here.
Will do. We don't need you anyway. And I get up, throw my water aside, and go to my room.
I do fear that your attempts to try to persuade us to go along with an assassination attempt will not work, and we're kind of bent in our ways, so as you are. But you have your orders and we have ours. I will see what I can do about taking him alive. My sister is very capable, and so am I. You'd be surprised what we've been through.
And if you fail, you tip them off that we knew that they were coming and that we have intel on them, and may thwart our attempts to eliminate him. So if this attempt is going to go down, it needs to happen simultaneously, otherwise, and be coordinated well. Otherwise, there's no way that Edith or anyone else is going to let you go along with it.
What? Won't let us?
Well, sounds like everybody here's mind's made up. I get up and head for the door. And I get my comlink out and I call Pakaz and ask him where he's at.
I just I'm in my room.
And as you depart, Jarrah will say, "Well then, I wish you the best in your mission. I hope I succeed before you do."
May I speak with you a minute? Pakaz, are you still there?
Yep.
Okay, I head towards Prakaza's room.
Del looks to Kalani. Well, the Jedi are working with the Resistance, aren't they? Actually, what are your orders? Turns to Jurat. Why are you here?
For that, it is a matter of business that actually extends beyond the Jedi Order. And for that, I can't reveal too much. It might give something away.
You said
How's that taste, Del? How's it taste?
I mean, it doesn't matter because he already has plans to thwart their plans anyway. So, anyway,
Can you do the thing, Del?
I mean, I can do that, actually. Yep.
Do the thing.
Ooh, that's a good roll.
With John, I still love that there's a moment where Del was told no.
Okay. Who are you targeting?
Jurat.
See, I feel like this counts as enough of a force bar that you should be able to use Rebuke on it if you have Rebuke.
Yeah.
But they're not supposed to be aware it's happening.
Yeah, he has to be aware of it.
Yeah,
That's
there's
why I feel
even
like
a
you should,
failing roll.
That's why I was gonna say. Roll use the force, and if it gets higher, then you know about it.
This isn't in the rules. I'm calling
And then you have to
shenanigans.
rebuke it again, but you
There
have
are-
to roll
there-
higher than it twice.
There aren't exactly PvP rules.
Also,
Set up.
that note
So-
about a failing roll does not make the target aware. That's specifically referring to the fact that if you use gather information, like to try to find rumors, and you fail by a certain amount or just whatever, then like the crime gangs you were trying to find info about, like realize you're poking into their business, so that is irrelevant to this situation. So Jurat, should you roll use the force?
First point. First point.
On
You
something
can't roll-
he's
you-
yeah, because he
you
doesn't
can't
know
use
it's
the
there.
force point.
That
Also, you can't use a force point if it's not your turn. Oh, which reminds me, I was doing that incorrectly before. If you use a thing as a reaction when it's technically not your turn, you can't use a force point on it. You can only use a force point when it's your turn on an action that you're taking. So, in this case, this is a reaction, so you can't use a force point.
Yeah, unless you have a skill.
Yeah, you've got to have special talents for it.
you can PM me that later. We can continue this conversation. That because Dal won't bring it up anyway.
Who, GM or me?
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. The GM probably decides what I actually find out. So, whatever. Anyway, continuing conversation.
Well, what exactly were you trying to determine?
Why they were here? Since I had just brought it up to the surface of his mind. I'm not a skilled interrogator. Thanks for the
Okay.
prompting, Beza.
Well, Jurat, you can send that to me, and then if I think it's good, then I'll send that to Kylar.
Okay.
And so you're involved with the Resistance. How exactly? You're trying to help them, right?
Yes, we got involved on our particular mission here to help them out because we saw them in trouble.
And do you actually have the intel about the Darth Ulagos in your possession?
I have what they have. It's one of those things where we just found out about it when they did.
GM, does he actually have it? Or is...
Ariel's the one who downloaded the information.
What are we talking about?
That's true. Never mind. Never mind.
I got it in my data pad.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, Paka!
No.
I need you to sneak in and destroy some stuff for me.
Tell.
Like, you see,
You
what
have perfect telepathy?
I can tell you things in really short bursts.
Or
So
rather,
it's
I
a-
send it to the wrong person. Great.
Yep, you sent it to me.
Yeah.
Well,
Oops.
You both have names that start with K. It doesn't matter.
anyway. So you said the Jedi Council orders you to take him alive?
That they did.
And how are you planning to pull that off with just the three of you? It's not gonna go well.
Of that, I don't know.
Look, I appreciate the desire to get information out of him, but I don't think we have the manpower to pull it off.
Well, if the rest of you weren't leaving us on our own, that would help.
I don't think Edith and the Resistance are going to go along with the capture mission because they know we don't have the resources to pull it off. We're not going to get them sanctioning a mission that's going to destroy the Resistance. That's not the point. The point is to build the Resistance with this attack.
I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about you. We were supposed to be working together, but apparently not.
Well, getting captured and killed is not what I'd say is a good plan. If you can come up with a plan that actually will work, let me know. Until then, I'm going with the Resistance and their plan. And I'm sure they would appreciate the help of the Jedi.
Well, as that we've only just recently known about this. I haven't had time to set aside a plan.
My thought is if there's a way you can get the crowd, if there's a crowd that gathers when this is happening, if we can somehow get them to actively revolt during it, we might be able to grab them in the confusion. But that's the only way I can see it working out. And I can't see the Resistance necessarily going along with it because there's a lot of moving pieces.
Suddenly, I literally now have all of a sudden messages from every single person except Eagle.
Lol.
What?
Wait, are they all about I'm sorry.
No, they're all different.
What?
Eagle,
My-
are you sure there isn't anything that you want to do secretly from
Huh?
everybody else?
What?
Eagle doesn't do secrets.
And after you capture him, where are you going to put him? The entirety
Okay,
of the
as soon
Sith
as also-
army on this planet is going to come down on you looking for him. They can find him in the Force. How are you going to hide him?
Again, that's part of the plan that I haven't thought of. I do have a ship, or we do have a ship, and I was thinking immediate capture departure if I could, or if we could.
Don't the Sith have ships in the skies?
Well, if Because would help us out.
Getting to the ship is a problem. It's going to be in a crowded street, surrounded by guards. Someone would have to fly the ship down into all of that. My other concern is that if the Jedi are seen doing it, but then they immediately leave, the public perception isn't going to be as strong as if this is carried out entirely by the Resistance, or seen to. And that hurts the Resistance efforts here. It also doesn't help the image of the Jedi either. They get one high-profile target and then they run away. It doesn't help anything to instill the people with confidence, which is kind of what we're trying to do here.
Jarrett just looks at you and smiles. It's that creepy smile he's been given to everybody anytime they fight.
Cal just stares right at him. Can you at least acknowledge that I'm making a little bit of sense here?
Well, the sense you claim to make is your own. I have a duty, and that binds me.
What exactly did the Jedi Council say? Did they say that you had to capture him, or that you should try to?
What was relayed to me was that we are ordered to capture him.
Blindly following the Council as always. Well, may the Force be with you, but I don't think the Resistance is going to be any help to you. And Del stands up, starts walking away. If you need help finding your brother, just let me know. And he leaves the room.
Blink.
Okay, so we're gonna take a short 10 or 15 minute break here now.
Not a bad idea.
Okay. Alright, in that case, be right back.